Welcome back, all you bored shitless people. God damn, I love you all. Welcome back to the League of Inches podcast. To all the live listeners, watchers, I really do appreciate you once again tuning in on this Wednesday night. Obviously, Hump Day. We haven't really ever spoken about Hump Day, but it's Hump Day. What a great time of the week. We're just getting over that hill now. We're going downwards. There's a lot of rugby league news to talk about over the last couple of days. The weekend was huge. Can't believe everything that's been going on today. I was just talking to the boys off air. We normally write out we normally write our sort of agenda up, and then just all this other news came out today. So it's going to be a huge show. As always, get in, guys. Get all your thoughts in the actual comments that will be appearing on the show. Just quickly, I just want to talk to everyone about some of the stuff out for the pages, some of the quick plugs. So the subscription services that we have been started to introduce. There is one at the moment on a Facebook group, so you get to become part of an exclusive group there, talking all things footy. Myself and Jesse will be on there talking all things Supercoach, all your questions and things like that as well, on demand, basically. In-game thread, so every single game, each weekend there'll be a game thread where we can discuss any talker points throughout those games, get opinions from myself as we watch them. It's only $3.99 a month, so less than $1 a week, guys. So it's really not much at all. It really just goes towards the page, helping us improve our equipment, guests that we can have on the show for interviews, things like that. We can actually start to pay some people to actually come on some of those bigger name interviews, which would be great for you guys. This is everything to do for you guys. And then go from that as well. Obviously, the bonus added to that, you'll get in the draw for 2 tickets each and every fortnight to a game of your choice that following week. Just quickly, subscriptions in terms of YouTube, please make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. It goes a long way to helping us grow as a page. We really do appreciate it. We've got some goals to hit that 1K mark as soon as possible. So the more we can share that around, get everyone involved, the better. And obviously that bell icon, the podcast listeners, please hit that bell icon on your Spotify, your Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to them, and you'll get us there. But let's get into the show. I am tired already after that intro, but Jez, I want to throw to you first. Unfortunately, guys, the Martin brothers are not here. They are off tonight. Some say it's because of the Parramatta situation. They're just in too deep. They can't handle it. I'm exhausted from last night. That was a huge episode, but I'm here. I'm facing the music. So obviously a lot of people have seen the rant by now. So I'll cop my medicine whatever way you want to talk to it. But Jez, how you been? And have you heard anything from the Martin brothers?
Well, I can confirm that they're not flying to Turkey to get their hair done. But I do have a recent photo that they've just sent through. They're at a family catch-up.
Oh,
So, Joel, if you could just share the
okay.
photo that we've got of the Martins. There they are there. They're having a great time. They're obviously not here with us tonight, but they are enjoying it. I'm sure they'll pop up in the comments too, but it's nice to know that they're hanging out together and Colgate looking for a sponsor. But...
brotherly love.
No, so we will miss the Martins, but we've got
goodness
Jesse
me.
here stepping up as always, ready to go.
That's it, man.
Thanks, Paulie. Thanks for coming a member there. Really appreciate that one. Jesse, I
Yeah,
tell you what, you're obviously on cloud 9 after your Supercoach score on the weekend, but your Roosters, hey, just missed out on probably one of the best comebacks, if not the best comeback of all time, considering you had a player sent off. How's things for yourself?
I was hanging for it. I thought, surely we're on here. This could be the biggest upset because I was talking to a few of the boys about it at halftime, and they were basically just saying, "Nah, it's done." One of the my brother-in-law is actually a big Doggy supporter, and even still, he was like, "I am not confident that we will win this at halftime when they were like 20-0." So he had, it was a fair call considering they almost fell apart in the end, but just shocking. What a horrible game. I just want to put last week behind me. To be fair, it was rubbish. Supercoach was all right, but just the chaos everywhere you look.
Yeah, me and you're in the same boat. Jesse's on cloud 9 as well because of his Newcastle Knights
Yeah.
turning into wet weather specialists on the weekend. That game was just, me and Jess spoke about it on Sunday night. It was just sensational stuff to see them actually play that style. What caught our eyes this weekend, boys, or the week so far? Jez, I'll throw to you first. What you got something that's caught your eye?
Yeah, a couple of things caught my eye. One of them was in the Roosters game, and it was Dom Young's pecs. They were very well formed, and when that shirt was ripped all the way down the middle, that'll bring the viewers back. I know we've lost a couple of the female viewership there with Reece Walsh getting his eye knocked out. So it's good to see Dom Young doing things for the female fan base. It also got me a little bit excited as well. So he did a great job. The other thing that stuck out to me was how Andrew Johns did. It was a couple of years ago. He was talking about the ball, like the grip of the ball. When it is dewy, you cannot hold on to the thing. But when it is pouring down torrential rain, it sticks to your hands like glue. And in that night's St. George game was the prime example of when the ball is waterlogged, you can't drop the thing. But if it's a little bit dewy and a bit sweaty, it's spitting out everywhere. So I thought that was cool too. But definitely Dom Young's
Rather,
pick.
yeah, you'd rather it just piss down every single week. But no, Dom Young, what a specimen. What an absolute machine of a man, hey. Basically, every
Gorgeous.
single viewer was just like, what? Who is this? Is this bloke real?
I said in the review podcast, that was definitely the one point that my wife kind of looked up at the television and went, oh, is this footy?
Yeah. So
Yes, it
when's
is.
the next game on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they all
I
wear
love
shirts like this? I
Only
wish.
when you're lucky. Yeah.
Might be the new uniform. Entice some more female viewers on each week. Peter Valandis, look out. Jesse, what caught your eye this weekend?
Well, it was hard to look past Dom Young. What caught my eye was how fast a club can capitulate on itself. Not talking anyone specifically, mainly the Rabbits and the Titans. But just in general, just how massive the divide between quality and just shambles is when you're watching a game. Even with the Eels too, like how fast a team can just crumble underneath its own weight. It's just blowing me out. I can't believe it. So many teams are just built on one player, and it's just unbelievable. But you know, you look at pretty much every game that got played through the week, and it was pretty like there wasn't any real contest as far as they go. Like it's men against boys almost every single game. It's just weird at the moment. I don't know if it's injury related or not, but yeah, I want a contest, and everything just seems to be whitewashed. So yeah, it's a weird time for the NRL, I'd say.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. We will get to that sort of stuff. So I'm going to try and steer clear of that for my moment at the moment. Try and not talk Parramatta for about 5 minutes because I need a little bit of a break at the moment. I agree with this from Shem. The Newcastle Knights fans on the weekend, just absolutely fantastic to see. They say that it is a rugby league town, city. It's all that. They are so passionate about it. And to go out in those conditions, we all saw the photo obviously on Sunday night of Jez's father out there just sitting under his umbrella. But that's the sort of stuff that these fans would do. Honestly speaking, I don't know if many other fan groups would do the same when it was in that sort of conditions. Me personally, I don't know if I would have been able to go out to the game in those sorts of conditions, but just a huge credit to just get just under 10K. I'm happy to give him the 10K. It was that close in those conditions. Just go up a bit and just say 10K. So a huge credit there to the Newcastle Knights. The other thing I want to quickly point out is headgear, helmets basically are now going to be worn in the NRL. We've seen what Reece Walsh looks to be wearing this weekend to make sure he can play. I don't know if I've ever seen a player wear that sort of full gear before, but this could be a changing of the guard for this sort of stuff. Obviously, Broncos need him back with Reynolds out, a couple of other big names out with Payne Haas, etc. as well. So they're desperate to get some quality on the park. So that means pushing Reece Walsh in. That looks like that's what they're going to do. Look, guys, I promise there is a lot to talk about. First of all, we don't normally do this for a Wednesday show, but Camo, because you've been kind enough to comment, ask the question. I'm actually going to raise this and get Jesse to answer a live on-air Supercoach question. Here you go, Jess. Here you go, Jesse. Go early on DWS via Dom Pex. Already have Val Hammer RTS. Manu on my never agains.
Why? What's the story with Manu?
I know
Manu's. He's one of those guys where you try and get him in 1 week thinking he's going to score you 100 and he scores you a 30. I really like Dallin as a play. I think his break even off the top of my head is about 105 or something. So you expect him to lose a bit, but I think it might only be for like a week potentially. They got a great draw. Johnson's back. You know, he had a pretty quiet game last week, scored 43 or something. But Yeah, I do like it. That center wing's pretty deadly in general.
Yes.
I would be thinking like you've got RTS already, you've got Val, like I've got both of them too. Hammer's going to be coming to his peak almost in a way, and you could almost just do a straight swap to Dallin, you know what I mean, without having to lose much. But it's really just dependent on who you're trading. So that's what I do. But yeah, I really rate the Dallin play. I think he's on my radar. Maybe in a few weeks.
Just before we go to the quiz, just quickly, this is the picture. If you haven't seen it yet,
Oh, he's still there.
he's
ready for tomorrow night.
Still
he's
there.
holding the spot for me.
Live pictures. Jez's father hasn't left the building.
He's still there.
Still there. He was that raps
Someone
about
check
the
on him.
win last weekend. He's just has he had something to eat, drink? Is he frozen there? What's happening?
Hasn't gone to work either, apparently.
You know what reminds me of? You know that episode of The Simpsons where Homer's at the baseball grounds and he's chained himself in that little corner and he's going on strike? That's exactly the scene. He's just sitting there by himself.
Mika just dropped him over some Maccas because Mika works just across the road from the stadium. So thanks, Michael. Appreciate it, mate.
Hunger strike.
Well done, Mika.
Jiggling for justice.
Get to work though. Look out. All right, there is so much to talk about tonight. There is so much on the agenda now. But quickly, the quiz is back, guys. Even though the Martins aren't here, the quiz returns. It's a little bit different tonight. I'm not going to go through all of the questions like we normally like 9 questions. I've only got 3. And tonight, Jez and Jesse, your names are your buzzers. It's obviously best of 3. So if you get the first 2, you've won the thing. So question number 1.
I'm going to say Jez.
I'll be able to... I can tell the voices. Yeah. Which game had more points scored? The Storm versus the Broncos or the Bulldogs versus the Roosters?
Jez. Bulldogs, Roosters.
Jez. Ba-ba.
Damn it.
The other game.
So the Storm and the Storm and Broncos 34-32, so 66 points. The Dogs versus the Roosters 30 points to 26, so only 56 points, so 10 points less. So on a technicality, Jesse gets that one. So Jez, you need to get this. What? No pressure. What
just
minute
default points?
Was
all right, whatever.
This will be the closest to the pin because this is a hard one. What minute was the clock on when Dom Young got sent off? Closest to the pin.
Jesse.
Yes.
Was it around the 20th minute?
You can lock that one in. No worries. 20th minute. Jess. Jezzy. Jezzy.
Hey, Jezzy.
42nd minute.
Oh. Jesse's the closest. It's the 26th minute. So 26 minutes and 40 seconds were on the clock. So
I'll never
well done. Well done, Jesse. Yeah. Actually, did you win last week?
No, I won, but
it was a tie. But me and Jez went like 2v1.
Yeah.
We're trying to work out the ladder, I think it was.
Yeah, we shared it.
Yeah.
Only just to make sure none of the Martins won.
Yeah, that's right.
2 weeks in a row, no Martin has won it. All right, guys. Let's get into some the big topics, the ones that people want to talk about. Here are our thoughts on. They love how we speak the truth. I don't know about the truth, but we speak our minds. First one up, Michael Jennings has been very controversial this week, bringing up his 300th game on the weekend. Tomorrow night, isn't it? Newcastle versus the Roosters. So the NRL came out, said they're not going to celebrate it. They're not going to give him the presentation they normally do due to the fact of what's happened in the past. Now, what's happened in the past, if no one knows, I do have a Fox Sports article. This is what all this information is off, guys. So I'm quoting foxsports.com.au. So in December 2021, a judge ordered Jennings to pay his former partner, blah, blah, over $490,000 in damages for personal injuries. Jennings denied the allegations, was never charged by police, and appealed the civil case ruling, but it was upheld. The lady's lawyers say the client is yet to receive any money. And then on Monday, obviously, the NRL has come out and said they're not going to honour Michael Jennings with the way they normally honour the 300 gamers. So, Jez, I'll go to you first. This is obviously, I guess, a touchy subject in a way, but it's also something that the NRL sort of got themselves into this corner here. You had a 35-year-old come back in the NRL for mine, just probably shouldn't have happened with his checkered history already, and they could have avoided this situation. But here we are now. Where to for the NRL? They've obviously come out and said no. Do you agree? Should he be celebrated for his 300th?
Yeah, well, the NRL aren't short of running away from controversy or leaning into a bit of controversy. So he also was up on performance enhancing drugs that he got a ban for as well. So it's quite a bleak sort of NRL history. So no, I don't think they should be celebrating his 300th game, nor do I think that he should still be playing for the Roosters when you think about all the talent that is out there, yet they're still playing this guy. You'd like to think that the NRL, now with the NRLW and all the great things that they do for the women's game and the kids in general, that they would kind of take a stand on this sort of thing. So though charges weren't laid, there were still some very serious allegations, and where there's smoke, there's fire. So he has been made to pay. There's the guy that we do not say his name, played for Parramatta. He
I've already put the
is not
comment up
allowed.
about him, so you're allowed to.
Is not allowed back in the NRL either. So why is Jennings allowed to come back in and do it? Is it because he was cleared of the charges and didn't go to jail or anything like that for it? However, it's not a fantastic look.
Is it technically cleared though? Because the civil court did actually end up charging him still. He just hasn't paid anything. So I think he has been charged for it. He's pleading his innocence still, but the courts have actually said no. Like,
Either way,
kind of thing,
it's a no from me. I don't think we should be celebrating his 300th. On the other hand, Mitchell Pearce, we all know what he did and the antics that he got up to, yet we still celebrated his 300th when he was at the Knights. So I know it's chalk and cheese when you're talking about those sorts of incidents, but it's also around what it's doing for the game and what image it's putting out there for the NRL.
Jesse, your club is obviously the Sydney Roosters. That sombrero that you have doesn't even fit on the screen. It's that big. But Michael Jennings, I want to get your thoughts. First of all, did you even need to sign him in the first place? I feel like he's wasted a junior coming through a young guy coming through that could have easily had that spot and got that for a bit of experience the next couple of weeks. And then second one, do you agree that the NRL, the stance that they've taken?
I never really understood the signing, to be honest with you. I didn't think it was necessary at the time. Obviously, their lack of depth at the moment in their wingers shows and their centers with the few players they have out, that they haven't a resort to actually playing Jennings. So there was obviously a lack of depth there to begin with. So like for that, I understand the signing as far as getting that position, but I just don't understand why it was him. It never really made sense. Still, he's 35. There's plenty of other players to get around to. So yeah, maybe it was just he was there at the time, and they thought the bigger name might bring something in. As far as recognizing his achievements as a 300th game, like there's no denying that 300 games is a milestone in itself. He scored 150 something tries in his career. Like he's had a career as far as footy goes, but the off-field stuff, whenever that level of off-field drama comes into play, you do have to kind of distance yourself a little bit from it. I suppose the NRL, the way that they've done it is it's pretty much just trying to avoid themselves of any responsibility of like overshadowing anything else. But like obviously he had the 3-year ban, which it's pretty rough in itself, and then all this other stuff with the ex-wife. So it's like, okay, I get it. You don't want to really acknowledge him for it. But still, like 300 games in the sport, like there's not many players that have really gotten to that sort of level to just completely dismiss it in general. So like they kind of did it to himself, getting him back in there, giving him the pass to come back, knowing that it's probably going to happen this season, realistically, looking at his numbers, being like, okay, he's only 2 games off 300, shrouded by controversy. Like you kind of had to expect it to begin with. Even just 2-3 weeks ago, you knew it was going to happen. So yeah, it's a touchy one, but like there's been plenty of sports people in different codes that have come back into the game celebrated. You know what I mean? Like John Jones was banned for years, and I can still consider him the greatest fighter there is. And you don't really look at the drug stuff. Obviously, it's more about the wife case, I would imagine, that's making people a bit up in arms about it, just because of the sort of the inclusion that they're trying to get into as well. Just it's a family-friendly sport now. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be bringing that up, especially flashing it all over the screens. 300 games. It can be a bit touchy. So it's a weird one. You're going to get people fighting against it. You're going to say celebrate him 300, like give him all the recognition, and on the other side, you're going to have the exact opposite. And I think both points are valid, to be fair.
Yeah, it's like in a way you
Well-
want to celebrate the athlete and the achievements that have happened on the field, and recognition for that. But then also, I think the trauma and the group that represents the allegations that are against him outside of it kind of outweigh that. And that's where you're definitely going to get those two groups of people where they want to celebrate his 300th, and then the many people outside of the game that would be thinking that is just a big middle finger to them. If there is a big Yahoo about his 300th, or even just him back in the NRL in general.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, I agree with what Nick said. Like, Jennings, on his day, he will be remembered as probably one of the best centers to play the game. Like, he was that good when he was in his prime. In a way, I felt like him coming back now, whatever his motive is, I think it would be probably diminished his sort of status a little bit, just because I felt like if he just went away now, he had his suspension, just go off into the sunset. In years to come, you'll probably be remembered a lot better than what it is while everything's fresh in everyone's minds. He's not going to obviously get anywhere near back to the form that he used to play in. He's a stopgap solution at the moment. He's got a bit of experience. That's why he's there at the Roosters. The NRL, they've chosen their stance. I agree with it in a way that the message, that's what everything's about these days, the message that it sends. They've got to show their support. Obviously, the other side of this, which I think we all do, we don't condone it at all. So that's obviously part of it there. But again, as I said at the start, the NRL got themselves into this situation. So they shouldn't have even said to him, okay, come back into the game after everything that's happened, because in a way, I see the NRL just continually has some double standards when it comes to these sorts of things. Like there's a comment there by Andrew about Todd Carney. He was pretty much banned from the game and walked out by doing some stupid drunken moments and stuff and making a fool out of himself and pissing in his mouth and stuff. And we're going to let players now come back in the game, like your Matt Lodges, who basically terrorized a family one night. We got Michael Jennings now, that's obviously done, or the civil courts have ruled that he's done what he's done to his ex-partner as well. Like, it just, for me, just sends the worst messages. And like Jez did bring up the Mitchell Pearce incident, like that was, looking back on it, that was nothing compared to some of these players, what they're coming back into the game now after what they've done. So they've got to be careful, the NRL, because they're going to start getting themselves back into a corner where they're going to be able to just not say no to anyone, because they continue to let some of these players back in the game. And that's not the look you want. I heard someone say the other day, does the NRL really need to become one of these games where we're just like a second chance for people? Like, people need to start appreciating these players, what they've got, and be better during their career, not have to resort on the NRL for that second chance to prove something. Be better, be the player you are that you'll be remembered for in a long, long time and years to come after you retire for being such a good player. Now players like Matt Lodge, Michael Jennings, etc., will be remembered, unfortunately, for the negatives, for the off-field stuff, where on their day, both of them were really good players. Matt Lodge, even, like, he was actually a talented player. He just stuffed himself early with some of these off-field incidences. So that's unfortunate for myself. That's how I sort of see it. But look, the NRL's done what they've done. We all probably agree you shouldn't have even been back in the game, but they've done it to themselves. I want to talk to the next thing. I said I wanted to try and keep away from Parramatta. But to be fair on the viewers, we had a lot of people talk on Sunday night about Parramatta, so we're going to bring it up. I'm also talking about Parramatta's situation at all. I want to talk about Blaze Talangi, the young gun who was centre against Manly, ran all over Tom Trbojevic in that game. Obviously started slow, but I felt like as the game went on, he got better and got used to that position. Most people probably don't know he actually has hardly played centre in his career. I know a couple of people that have actually played with him, or had a family member that's played with him, and he's hardly ever played centre. So he was just literally learning the ropes on the run that game, and that's a quality credit to how quality he is as a player. He's then got shifted into the 5'8" position without a dominant half, which is Dylan Brown, who should have been just a 5'8" and stuck with that. Ethan Saunders should have been the halfback, but we won't even get there. He's now back to reserve grade playing fullback. So this kid has now played 3 positions in 4 weeks. That is an absolute disgrace on the club, in my opinion. The coach, the coaching staff to actually allow this. How are you helping a young player develop his game at the most crucial time in his age to do so by asking him to play 3 different positions in 4 weeks? And he's basically been fed to the wolves now in a 5'8" position that he shouldn't have been in first grade. And now he feels like he's been dropped because he's played shithouse. He's the problem that they got smashed 41 points to bloody 8 or whatever it was. And I feel for the kid, Jesse. It doesn't send a good message, I don't think, to young players how crucial coaches have it to their rise into the first grade. So now to deal with what he's done and have Morgan Harper come in, it's not great.
Nah, it's a joke, to be fair, man. Like, it's already such a hard transition to go from, where he was into first grade in general, into a position that he's familiar with, to then ease him into it. Let alone when he's been tossed into 2 different positions into a team that's lost their half. You've moved the 5'8" across. You're just shuffling pieces around, and then you're like, all right, kid, here you go. Win us games. And it's like, well, it's not his job. It's not his responsibility. Introduce him into it, get him into the system, and then work around it. Instead, you've thrown him into what? He played center. He's played 5'8" twice, and now he's playing fullback. It's like he'd be coming into this going, like, what else can I have done? Like, what else can I do? There's 12 other guys running around out there, plus the bench. They've all been here before. I've played 3 games in my career in first grade, and then he's the one that gets dropped. And it's like, okay, like, obviously Arthur's trusted him enough to bring him into the position in the first place. Dayan Arcee was filled in last year regardless, and they had him ready to go. They've got Saunders there, who I'm pretty sure I saw something earlier today saying that his management wants out, considering he was told that a position would become available for him if there was an injury, which there is now. So it's like, are they catering putting Dylan Brown at half to put Talangi at 5'8" because he might be familiar with it? Or, well, I suppose it's irrelevant now because they've dropped him anyway. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot of uncertainty. Like, you'd be thinking anyone coming up, it's like, am I actually going to get a run? And if I am, where am I going to play and for how long before Morgan Harper is the replacement? So I don't think it's long before we see him back, to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to be one of those he's gone forever kind of things. I reckon 2-3 weeks, and we might see him back in the centres. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know if anything that they've got at the moment's a long-term stick. I think Brad Arthur's just trying to throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. I don't think Harper will stick, but he's gone back to him twice. So yeah, I just don't know. It's and it reflects in their result too. So I feel sorry for the kid, man. I had high hopes for him.
Yeah,
just
I do as well.
It's got to dent his confidence a bit too. Just coming up, getting tossed around, getting dropped, coming back, expecting the same things again. Like, yeah, it's a lot to take in for a young kid. Anyway.
Yeah, Jez, I know you've got something. Here we go.
No, I'm just producing in the background. If you could just keep showing it, that'd be fantastic.
Oh, like this? Okay, I'll show it.
Just so we know who we're talking about, because you literally said he ran over. Yeah, Dad's still there.
The old man's still there.
Yeah, Dad's
still there.
That's good. This kid's such a talent. He is such a talent. And when BA just has no idea what to do with him, and he's throwing him through the ringer, and it's only going to kill his confidence. I'm seeing in the comments as well, like him playing New South Wales Cup and getting their absolute butts kicked, and him being the standout is not going to do anything for his confidence. Going in and out of first grade is not going to do anything for his confidence. He's someone that you want to invest in as a club. You want him there. He is a genuine talent. So I have no idea how they've got this wrong. Well, I do. It's the bloke in front of the first grade team directing things, but it's just another sort of knife in the not knife in the back. What's the metaphor I'm looking for? It's another thing to go, you know what, BA, it might be your time, because he's got it wrong.
It's another nail in the coffin.
Nail in the coffin. That's what I was looking for. Jeez, I'm tired.
Mika, featuring you I feel you, brother. We're pushing on here. Keep us fired up in the comments, please. We just show your appreciation to the hardest working people in podcasts at the moment. I reckon we are just killing things at the moment. His defense at 6 and centre was pretty average, if we're being honest. You know what? I said he started the Manly game very average, and then he worked into it. And that second half, they didn't do anything around him. They couldn't. So he worked into it, and then he went to another new position at 5'8", and it was just so hard for him to get used to that. Like, he was thrown to the wolves. He was partnering with Dill Brown, who just is, for mine, isn't a halfback. BA doesn't want to admit to it because he's already gone out and made all these outlandish statements about him. But yeah, it is what it is. Look, I sort of, in a way, I don't know, Andrew. Ethan Saunders should run far away. Is it Saunders or Sanders? Can someone let me know, because I keep getting it wrong.
I'm going to
And
say
someone
that's a Saunders.
blew up at me in my rant saying you couldn't even get his name right. Well, mate, no one knows he's the right one. Is it Saunders or Sanders? So let us know in the comments, please, because it's starting to do my head in. I feel like I get it wrong every time. He will be going from Parramatta very, very soon. He'll be off to the Canberra Raiders. I would not put it past Blaze if he's had his management start to look elsewhere, especially if we do look to sign Zach Lomax. I don't know where he's going to end up playing, because they'll have Penasini and Lomax in the centres, and he won't get in the halves because it'll be Dill Brown and Mitch Moses for the long term. So I'm not too sure what's going to happen there with Blazers' future in the short term, especially. But moving on, we're not the Para podcast that was last night. You want to see more rant about that, go onto the page, my page, the League of Inches one. You'll be able to see the rant there. Have your say there, Para guys, and keep the Para chat going. Wayne Bennett, he's in the media at the moment, and the thing with Wayne Bennett is he's so smart with how he manipulates the media. He has so many puppets in the media. People by now, surely we all have clicked onto it. We know what happens with him. He just has the right people, tells them just a little bit to get it out in the media, start some smoke, let the smoke start to build up to then produce some fire like Survivor, and the rope gets burned off and they win the game. So I have no doubt in my mind, Wayne Bennett and Parramatta are looking more and more likely as the days go by. Where are we at the moment, boys, with where we think Wayne Bennett will finish, will suit next year? Obviously, South Sydney are in the market. We're about to talk about them and their caretaker coach by the looks of things this year. Him and Wayne Bennett don't get along, so I'm not too sure how that would happen in the cross paths region. So I'm almost happy to say Wayne Bennett won't be going back to South Sydney. But where do you boys think Wayne Bennett will go, Jez? South Sydney, Parramatta, the current two. Could be a smoke in the water. Who knows?
Well, for those who don't know who we're talking about or what he looks like, Joel, you could just bring up the slide that I've been working tirelessly in the background of for each segment. If you could just remember to do that,
Sorry,
that'd be great. Bloke, this old fella here, has a pretty good reputation. I think
nice clear photo as well.
The Martin brothers are not too keen on him going to Parramatta. They're after Craig Bellamy. And with the recent news coming from South, he might not be going back there either. So a smoky for Wayne Bennett to go to. I don't know if he'll want to leave Queensland, if I'm honest. He might be doing this all for fun and end up just staying at the Dolphins, but maybe go into the background a little bit more. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think if he does go to Souths, I think he would be because he's a very good man manager. And it seems like that's what Souths need right now. They need someone in there that's going to cut all the bullshit and say, pull your finger out and change a few attitudes, because as soon as that happens, South Sydney are going to start winning games quite comfortably again. So he might be the guy to go in there and actually manage men, because it seems like that's what Souths needs. Same with Parramatta. It seems like what they need as well is a bloke that'll go in there and be no nonsense and actually manage men and sort out all the attitudes, because going on last week's performance, they were very lackluster, and all three of you were going on around pride of the jersey, which it seemed only one or two of them actually had. So he could bring that back in there as well. But my hot tip is I think he's staying in Queensland.
Yep. No, I can understand that. Put his feet up. The only thing I don't know about that part of things is because he continues to come out and say he still wants to coach. Like, I think he will literally coach till he hits the grave, and that's the scary thing about it. I don't know when he's going to stop. I don't think he has anything in his mind at the moment to stop. So, Jesse, who have you got? Have you got someone else? Have you got a smoky for us, or you've got locked in
No.
one of the clear favourites?
I would be more inclined to say probably the Rabbits, to be honest. I think it's probably what the club needs in general. Some no nonsense. Like, they're not going to give him the shit that they're giving Demetrio. You know what I mean? Like, Wayne Bennett just commands respect when he walks into a room. You'd see him in the press conferences. I can't see Latrell being as arrogant as such as he is with Bennett there telling him what to do, as opposed to anyone else. You know what I mean? You just never know. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays in Queensland. It seems like things are going quite well up there. Why would you go down to a shit show like the Souths or like the Eels potentially? I don't think the Eels are in as bad a spot as the Rabbits are, to be honest. I think they've at least got a bit of a dressing room that can make a change. I just don't see the Rabbits just being a very comfortable place to be. But I feel like, yeah, wherever he would go, the players would step up around him. And I think the most significant change would probably be the Rabbits, and maybe just the history in general. You're sort of more inclined to think he would there. But yeah, who knows at the moment, man? It could be all for nothing. Could be all just so we can have a chat about it. But yeah, South for
I
me.
genuinely
I'd
think
say.
that's what it is. I think he's having fun with this, and rightly so. You might even see him smile, which would be fantastic. But I think he's just taking the media through a nice little run here.
Yeah,
The thing
I
is,
wouldn't be surprised.
Wayne Bennett loves everyone, but Wayne Bennett loves Wayne Bennett the most. He is obsessed with himself. So I definitely agree. He would love everything that's happening at the moment. He would love the fact that, let's be honest, two of the most popular clubs in the competition are both looking like they want him, are both chasing him. He would love that. The question is, as you both have said, does he want to come back to Sydney? I don't know. If it's a head coaching role, I reckon he would do it. If he choose head coaching over one of these coaching director roles, I don't think he wants to do that. That's his fallback. I said I want to smoke you. I'm going to throw one at you boys, and it seems crazy to say now, but talking about Queensland, there's a team at the moment who is seriously struggling, hasn't had a win yet. The coach has just been Sydney all his life. He doesn't know anything else. He knows the Northern Beaches and the Bankstown area, and that's it. He's now up on the Gold Coast, which lifestyle-wise, no doubt he is loving. I'm talking about Des Hasler and the Gold Coast Titans. If this continues to go pear-shaped this year, and let's say the Titans get the wooden spoon and continue to just play dog shit football, I have a sneaky feeling that they could come to like a mutual agreement. Des and Titans go, you know what? Des doesn't need this. He doesn't need to prove himself. He's already won premierships. He's done what he needs to do. Why does he need this headache in his life? He could say to the Titans, you know what, guys, let's just move. Let's just part ways. I'm done. It's not working out. These players won't play my style and vice versa. Could we see Wayne Bennett pop up in the Gold Coast? Surfboard under the arm. Next year, he's firing up Seabus Stadium as the Gold Coast Titans head coach for 2025.
No, surely not.
There's the smoky.
Yeah.
I wanted the smoky. I wanted it.
No, I don't. Do you reckon Wayne Bennett's up for another rebuild? Like, that's what I'm thinking as well. I don't think he's up for another start from the ground up sort of thing. I reckon the next role he goes into is going to be pretty cushy, surely. He's just going to roll on in, just take it a bit easier. I don't think he wants to do another rebuild.
I don't think he's got the time left to do another rebuild.
No.
This
is the reason why I think Parramatta is the front runner for them, for Wayne Bennett, if he decides to coach moving forward next year. Because the difference between Parramatta and South Sydney at the moment is Parramatta have a quality halfback that can win a competition. South Sydney do not. The rest of their rosters are probably similar because South Sydney have, for mine, when it's full strength, a far superior backline to the Eels. But then the Eels have probably a far superior forward pack than South Sydney when all fully fit. So apart from that, the spines are pretty much on point apart from the halfback. And if for mine, Wayne Bennett wants to leave one lasting legacy because it has been a number of years now since his last premiership. Imagine if his last success would be winning Parramatta that illustrious premiership that they've been waiting for years and years and years. Feels like we've never won one again since bloody 86. Just that feels so long ago. I'm ready to just say it's clean slate, start again. Let's keep going, boys. Honestly, he'd be up there with Jack Gibson. If he can win a premiership with Parramatta, his lasting legacy will last a lifetime. And there's the argument right there. Who's better, him or Jack Gibson, if he can produce that? And I think deep down, that's the thing that would drive Wayne Bennett to Parramatta and say, you've got me for 2 years. Talk to the playing group and say, we're going hard for this for 2 years. Give me the players to make it happen. The club will probably turn into a basket case afterwards, which I've seen in the past. But I'm happy to take that if it means a premiership for Parramatta. So, look, there was one question here I wanted before we move on from Wayne Bennett. It's right here. It's for Jez. How did Newcastle feel about Wayne Bennett? I just spoke about it then, the aftermath of having Wayne Bennett there as coach. What's the thoughts around, obviously, after that period when Wayne Bennett was at the Newcastle Knights?
It was during the Tinkler time as well. So it was a really tough time for the club. We went back to the roots of Newcastle and trying to find all of these Knights juniors and bring them back, and it just didn't work. He took us to a semi where Danny Badiris got his head taken off. So that was really exciting, and that was probably the most exciting part about the Wayne Bennett sort of tenure there at Newcastle. But him leaving left a massive hole that we had to recover from for many, many years. So his parting gifts are not as nice as his arrival gifts, that's for sure. And it seems like something similar has happened at South Sydney. Leaves a massive hole. Don't know what it is that happens, but you can definitely tell the clubs that Wayne Bennett has gone through.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were going to keep going. I tried to have a quick swig. Jesse, I want to ask you one question about a coach, not Wayne Bennett. I want to actually ask you about Trent Robinson quickly while we've got you on. It wasn't in the run sheet, but it popped in my mind. How long do you reckon he has a free pass for? Because if we're being honest, the Roosters have been...
Until Uncle Nick says, see you later.
The last 2 years, but how long can he...
Avoid criticism?
Yeah, because it's star-studded roster.
2 more weeks. Yeah. It feels like
until Uncle Nick can stop passing papered bags to media junkets, because they seem to have a safe pass every time. It's got to be the only reason. Surely.
Yeah, he can do no wrong, apparently. I think it's kind of getting to the end of his straw, to be fair. I think you just have to go look at the results. Look at the last 3 years. Well, since Cronk left, it's like, okay, you've still had the same team, like you still had all the opportunity to do it. Admittedly, they do get flogged with injuries, and somehow they just seem to keep bringing in like rep players to replace these injured guys every single time. So don't know how they're doing it. It's a mystery to us all. Definitely not any breaches of anything. I can assure you that. But yeah, it's just he seems to avoid every single bit of criticism, and the way that he handles his conferences too, the press conferences, the way that he just says what he says. Like, he doesn't direct it at anyone particular. He never throws himself out there like Ricky Stewart or any of these other guys. He kind of just plots along, says, oh wow, things are just a little bit weird today, and then everyone just forgets about it. Or he kind of gets his way. So I think, a lot of it's got to do with his past, but I think, it's going to be one of those situations where another year of this and the writing's on the wall for him. But the thing that annoys me the most is that it seems like it's just recycling the same coaches between all these clubs. Surely by now there has to be new talent in the coaching pool somewhere. Because, okay, Desi's a good example. How many times can he bounce around to a different club? Or how many of these other guys can just go from here to here to here to here? And you don't think, oh, it's the club that's the problem. It's like, no, these guys are dinosaurs now. Like, they're getting old school. Things are changing. Look at Benji coming in now, bringing some new wave of something in. There has to be more of that.
Has to be. How long have the Walker brothers been in the conversation? Like, honestly, it seems like every year when the coaches go through the cycle, there's people in the comments or there's people in the media going, the Walker brothers, their time, they're going to miss out. They're not going to get a run because we just keep, as you said, recycling. Coaches just go to different clubs. Just play swaps. Put your name in a hat, draw it
Yeah.
out. That's your coach for the year. Away you go.
Pretty much.
Talking about that, we've heard the news today. Mal Meninga looks like he could be set to be the caretaker coach. Jason Demetrio looks like he's gone after this week, whether it's a win or a loss. For mine, put the house on South getting beat 13 plus this weekend, the way things are going. Like what you boys are saying right there, this has come from absolutely nowhere. He's the Australian coach. He clearly doesn't need this to get himself anywhere. He's already reached the pinnacle, really, in rugby league, according to what it should be, which is coaching the Australian team. Surely a caretaker coach is for those young guys that to prove themselves for a short period of time, prove that they can do something and move on. Granted, South Sydney want to do something still this year. They think they've got a side capable of at least making the top 8, and they need a coach to bring the best out of those players. But I don't know. I 10 in a row.
Sorry, I was going to Andrew's comment where he said that Newcastle wish they had a new coach. Mate, 10 in a row. There you go. There's my first mention.
Yeah, they won 10 in a row in the last year, guys. Do we think Mal Meninga and South Sydney are good fit, Jez? Is this? It seems so odd.
Oh, look. You can probably see him connecting with those big names there, for sure. Being what he's done at Origin level, what he's done at international level. Is he ready to take on an NRL where it's every single week, has to face up and put it through? Probably. But purely just because I think he would be the right person to kind of stand in front of those big names and say, no, it's not your team, it's my team, and really put his thumbprint on it. So he could be more than just a Band-Aid fix. He could actually set it up for the next coach coming in at South to really whip those guys into line, because it seems like they need to be.
Yeah. Jesse, do you think it can work?
I don't know. It's going to have to just be one of those temporary attitude adjustments for that club. I don't think really any coach coming in at the moment, unless it's something long term, is really going to make a change to anything tactically. I think it's more about just pulling them into line, because everywhere you look in that club, it seems like someone's head is somewhere else. And whether or not that she's getting him in there to patch fix a few things for the rest of the season, sort Latrell out, sort any of the infighting going on until inevitably, you hope for that club's sake, they just get Burgess back. But any of that stuff that's going to happen in the meantime, I really don't think it's actually going to make them any better of a side. I think they might get some wins. I think at the moment what they're probably doing is just trying to throw JD under the bus and get him out of the club if they don't like him, because all they have to do is lose, and they're excellent at that. So it's like, okay, let's just go out there and be dog shitted for another week, and then maybe this guy will piss off. It's like, well, I don't understand if that's any fair for him as a coach on the side of things. Meninga's not going to be doing too much different. But it's a different face in front of the cameras for him. And it's just going to take a lot of the spotlight off Latrell, who then maybe is going to perform better at a club level. So it's really just, pass the spotlight over to Meninga and just let the club kind of work it out.
I don't know how it can actually work, because I feel like there's like a conflict of interest there as well, being the Australian coach and having players in South who might be able to play for them at the end of the year and stuff. I just feel like the Australian job, shouldn't he be making sure he's watching every game, watching everyone, making sure the players are playing well, that he wants to be choosing, things like that. If he's going to go into this South Sydney basket case at the moment, which he's going to have to be hands-on with this assignment, even though he's going to be there short term, he's going to be signed there to do a job, and that's to get the best out of some of the players like Cody Walker, Latrell Mitchell, Damien Cook. And he's got to be very, very hands-on with that, because I don't think he's going to have the time to be able to do both roles. If he's taking on South Sydney, dare I say it, he probably should get rid of the Australian job and give it to someone else who can actually spend the time to get that unit right, which obviously there's the best players in the world, but you got to give it the respect it deserves. Quickly with the Andrew, with the actually I'll hold this to the end of it. I'll talk about Latrell at the questions time. Josh Schuster, lastly, boys, has been told he's free to leave Manly. I think we all seen this coming. 850 or something thousand a year, New South Wales Cup talent. He's having a holiday at the moment, loving life. I've watched a couple of the New South Wales games, and he just looks like he does not give a shit. He's literally like walking around and stuff. He does not care. Give me the money, and he's off. I want to ask you, what team do we think is actually looking likely to sign Schuster? Because all I say is we're not surprised by this. We saw this coming. It might be a bit earlier than we thought, but no doubt Ben Javovic now has that spot there. So does Corey Waddell. So they don't need him. Jesse, what club stands out to you that could use Josh Schuster?
Well, none really that could really use him. Like, is he going to be on 800K wherever he goes? Because if that's the case, no one will touch him with a 10-foot pole. They're not going to get involved with that. Is he a 5'8"? Is he playing in the second row? Like, it's a lot of money to be spending on a player that you're just like, I don't know where this guy's been. And his injury history as well. He's just constantly injured. He's had this calf injury for like 2 years, won't go away. I don't think you want to be getting involved with it. It seemed likely, I don't know, I've seen the only club that I saw anything with was the Dragons. And I thought, why on earth would the Dragons be looking at another forward potentially? Unless they want to put him at half, but obviously he's not going to replace his own son. I would not have a single clue to where I could see him going, genuinely. I haven't really looked hard, to be honest with you, since I've saw the news about it. But at the same time, no one stands out to me immediately thinking, oh, that'd be a perfect fit. Sure, yeah, I don't know. It's big money. It's big money for not a lot of upside.
I think I think he's kissed his pay packet goodbye just quietly, like through his performances and his attitude. So his pay packet's gone. I think the Dora Creek Swampies would probably sign Josh Schuster because they've signed lots of ex-NRL talent and they've been forced to go out of pub footy and into a proper comp on the Central Coast. So maybe they have room for him, but it seems like I reckon he just needs to put his hand up and go and play some bush footy somewhere, earn you a couple of $1,000 a game, go and work in the mines as well because he's got the rig for it. That might be Josh Schuster because I don't see any NRL club going, yeah, we'll take him.
Yeah. He's only 22 years old as well, so he's still quite young.
He's got some growing up to do, old Joshy boy.
Yeah.
I think this is a huge crossroads in his career, and it's a moment where his management actually need to think about Schuster as a person. And I'm about to get there, Jess. They need to ask him and have a serious conversation about where he wants to be in the next couple of years. He's not going to be on the 800,000. He can forget that now. He's absolutely stuffed that for himself with a piss poor attitude. Does he want to turn things around and work his ass off and get back to the player we did see glimpses of about 2 years ago when he was playing in the second row for Manly? Or does he want to continue to be this flashy sort of player who doesn't give a shit? If that's the case, go over to Super League. As people have said in the comments, he'll probably make a name for himself being that sort of a player. They'll froth him. They'll love him. If it's the other one and he actually wants to work and he wants to become a name in this game, like we continue to say, it's a professional sport now. You need to come to the games with that attitude and every day of your life for this 10 to 12 years of your life and be someone. Because if that's the case, you'd be ringing up, if you're the manager, you'd be ringing up Craig Bellamy, you'd be ringing up Trent Robinson, you'd be ringing up Wayne Bennett, and you'd be going, obviously we don't know where Wayne's going next year. You'd be saying, please take him for as low as whatever will work for you. You've got him for 3 years. Work him. He wants to work and prove to everyone what he can be. Because I am not doubting his talent. He has talent. His head is all over the shop. He thinks he's all it when he's really achieved nothing in the game yet. And he needs a right royal kick up the arse. Craig Bellamy would be ideal for him. But even I have a feeling like Craig Bellamy might just go, mate, I've seen what you like. I don't want to touch you. I don't want to waste my time. Like, you need to be...
In saying that, you watch him go to the Storm and you watch him turn into a premiership winning player because that's just what Craig Bellamy does.
Probably.
Yeah, but that's what he does.
He would kill it at the Melbourne Storm. It would take him about a year. I reckon he'd have a solid run in New South Wales Cup again, but it'd be of a different variety. He'd be actually there
playing
with
for the Bears with Nelson. Playing for the Bears.
Nelson.
It'd be huge.
But trust me, when he got into grade, you would know about it because they would turn him around into this just player that no one has seen before and go, holy shit, Manly would go, what have we let go? But it's up to him, Schuster. It's up to him and his management to get this next decision right. I'd take Manly up on their offer. I'd go, you know what? It's not working here. Let's get the hell out of here. You've stuffed it for yourself with the money. We'll get that back in years to come if you can knuckle down the next couple of years and get things right.
Yeah, probably a world beater in the Super League. It would be good for him.
Oh, massive. It would be massive for him.
But like, yeah, it's not a good idea to give a 20-year-old 800 grand a year. Like in general, it's just so reckless for the club. Like, you know what? If that hadn't have happened, if it was 400, which is still absurd, we'd see a very different player now. But you see it all the time in any sport ever. You give someone that much money for no particular reason, and they just switch off the next season. They go, "Why do I even need?"
If they don't have the right people around them, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, he'll end up somewhere good enough for him. He's talented enough. We'll just wait and see.
But that's another person to add into that category of why we get frustrated with him, because he is so bloody talented, but he's just so bloody lazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a few of them around.
You just want to grab him and you want to shake him and you want to go, mate,
slap him
you
up.
could honestly be one of the most dangerous players in this competition. He has a lot of Bryce Cartwright about him. We all know what happened with Bryce Cartwright. We went to the Titans and stuff. It was literally not even attempting tackles, etc. This sort of speaks to me about a Bryce Cartwright situation where he can come back, give him a year or two to get into that sort of tough stage of his career and just watch the player he could become. So I'm keen to see the next couple of steps for Josh Schuster. Let's get into some game previews. Jesse, just a quick preview. You might not have seen the rundown again, but we only go through a couple of games. We don't go through the whole round. So
that's right. He'll see when the slides pop up. That's okay.
That's right.
Yes.
Come on, mate.
Yes. So the first game, the Newcastle Knights, currently 12th, up against the Sydney Roosters, currently 10th. My eyes are deceiving me. I think it's $1.55 to $2.45. Gamble responsibly. Jez, you headed to this one. Hopefully the weather's a bit nicer for you tomorrow night. Where do you see this game being won?
Well, it's not forecast for cyclonic rain, which will be lovely. I don't think Dad will need his umbrella. So, Dad, if you're listening and you're still there, you can put your brolly down. But I think the Knights 1-12. I saw it's Connor Watson's return to Newcastle, which is bizarre to think because he's been at the Roosters for so long, but he hasn't played against Newcastle at Newcastle this whole time. So I really like Connor Watson, so I'm excited to see him. I think it's one in the middle. And based on the performances from last week, I know it was in sopping rain, but the Leo Thompson coming back was humongous for the Knights. The Safidi brothers pulled their fingers out and actually played proper rugby league. And the kicking game was phenomenal. So I don't know who your ins and outs are. Let's just have a look. Obviously, Dom Young, Tedesco, and Walker. Yep. So your two concussions and your suspension. So they're big losses. And I think Hastings and Cogger have a really good opportunity here to prove that they're supposed to be the halves pairing for the Knights, like we all say that they are. Drive weather footy, Thursday night, packed Newcastle Stadium. It's going to be awesome.
Just sorry, I'm just channeling my inner Jack Hastings, not listening to the hate. So I think Andrew Voss, that was directed at you, mate. But anyway, Jesse. Hang on, we've got the League of Inches Cup. I didn't even preview it the way I should have.
The battle.
Look,
the battle of the red and blues.
Battle of League of Inches battle. I love it. So come back at him, Jesse. Why are the Roosters going to win? Or are you tipping the Knights?
I'm tipping the Knights. I just think there's just too much that's happening with the Roosters at the moment. Too many outs. Like the Knights look good. They're at home. Thursday. You can't really. I just don't see a way on which the Roosters come back unless we just get a masterclass from Manu at fullback, which tends to be the case every single time. I think it might be a close game. I don't think it's going to be an absolute blowout. I still feel like the Knights catch away with it. Just from what they saw against the Bulldogs. Obviously, conditions were one thing, but like you've gone from Walker out to Kiri and Watson. Like I just don't like seeing Luke Keary there anywhere near that side in general. I don't think he's going to be doing anything too flash. I don't think Watson's going to be the guy to make the change. It'd have to be Manu, if anyone, but no Teddy as well. Like, it's just too many things. Knights look too good, and they're at home. So, yeah,
Though Daniel Tupou has quite a good record against Newcastle.
that's okay. They still need to defend tries.
Oh, true.
So
you might score your try.
you know what? Anytime try scorer Daniel Tupou, but I definitely wouldn't tip anything too much more.
I'm really glad that Dom Young isn't playing against us, because I would cry just because I like him so much, and it hurts that he left.
I reckon he probably went in on Blake Tough intentionally, so he didn't have to score a hattie against the Knights and make everyone feel bad.
Agree. Yep.
He's
good on you, Dom. See, he's a good bloke. He's a good bloke.
You don't have to see me next week. Fuck.
Yeah, good bloke.
I think this game will be a lot closer than a lot of people think. I think the Roosters, even though they've got a lot of outs, they'll find a way to just be annoying for the Newcastle Knights. But I think the Knights will win. Kalen Ponga is starting to find some rich form. He is looking so good at the moment. You can smell Origin is coming up, and the battle between him and now Walsh is back. I think it's just going to heat up. The debate's going to rage on for weeks to come about that number 1 jersey. And Ponga has seriously put his hand up over the last couple of weeks to really grab that jersey and make it his own. I've got the Knights. I'm going to go out and actually say a margin here. For some reason, I'm just seeing 7. So I'm going to say the Knights by 7. Another field goal by Jackson Hastings. He'll seems to in some of these games just hit a field goal. So off he goes there. He'll get that done. Now, the next game we preview. So, Jez, do we have something there, or hang on? Oh, here we go. Look out. There we go. The Wars, the New Zealand Warriors.
Madly in the background here. We're ready to go. This is a visual.
I appreciate all the hard work you do. Give Jez some love in the comments, please, guys. Warriors coming 6th, the Manly Sea Eagles 7th. So what a battle when you look at it like that. Tell you what, $1.49 to $2.62. I thought that would be a lot closer the odds than what it's saying. Again, gamble responsibly, please. Boys, what have we got here? So obviously a big out for Manly. Ruben Garrick out. That means Ben Trbojevic comes into centre. Corey Waddell went to the edge back row spot as well. For the Warriors, they welcome back a big gun in Dallin Watene-Zelezniak and Kurt Capewell. So they're pretty much full strength this weekend, the New Zealand Warriors, for what apart from obviously the 5'8", who I've had a mental blank for a quick second about, but I'll get his name back in my head. But
Tamari Martin.
Yeah, no, the other one that's actually out. The reason why Tamari Martin's there.
Oh, Metcalf broke his leg.
Yeah,
Metcalf. There we go. So, Jez,
Tyson Frizzell snapped his leg in half.
Yeah.
Yes. New Zealand, I tell you what, after the weekend's performance, they've looked like they've got their confidence back, their mojo. They now get to go back home. Very scary proposition facing the Manly Sea Eagles.
Yeah, Warriors at home. I think it's the trip that no one wants to do, and especially in the form that they're in. It's going to be such a good game. I'm actually really looking forward to this one. 3 p.m. on Saturday. I'm going to have to record it because I'm actually playing football myself. But Kirkwell back in, Watene-Zelezniak back in, full strength Warriors side. I think they might rip shreds off the Sea Eagles because they've been a bit hit and miss. And I think going over there, tough. Up the wires.
Yeah, you're right about Manly. They've been a yo-yo team so far this year. They've never been able to back up a great performance with another good performance the week after. It's always been just good, bad in a way. So it'll be interesting to see how they turn up.
I reckon they will. Really cool.
Oh, Cherry Evans up against Johnson. What? That's worth the price of admission, guys. The old saying. Jesse, who you got in this one?
Yeah, I've got the Warriors too. They just seem to be doing everything right. You know, Warriors game at home. I think I would tip every single home game for the Warriors, every single time, comfortably too, against any opposition. So, Wise by 14 plus. Yeah, I think so too. I just think the Eagles mainly just seem to be weird too. Like they couldn't turn up against the Dragons, but they could beat Penrith. So it's like, what team are you going to get? Where with the Warriors, you seem to just know every single time they step out there, there's going to be quality pretty much all over the park. It's been really nice to see the Warriors really step up last couple of years. From the inconsistencies of the past in general, you feel like now they can actually get momentum every single time. So, yeah,
They're a threat to the comp.
The Warriors. Oh, big
The
time.
Warriors are a threat to the comp. If they finish top 4, I reckon they win the whole thing. Like they're killing at the moment. Let's hope some injuries stay out of their way. But I just saw, hold up, Aaron Woods is named in the squad for the Seagulls.
Well, look,
The Eagles win. Change my tip. 13 plus Seagulls if he plays. Go Woodsy.
you are right, Jez, and I'm quickly going to talk about that for the Wars fans. There's always one or two that watch the videos, and there's always a few that message the page. Really love you for getting around the page, being part of that family. I'm with you all the way. I think the Warriors are right in this competition this year, and I've always up the Wars 100%. I've been high on them in the off-season with a lot of people. Hey, Adam, where are you?
Who was that?
Check in on Adam soon. We'll see where he is. But look, they're in this competition. They are the dark horse for mine. They're just, as you said, imagine if they can finish top 2 and have 2 home games in the final series. That is just all tickets to the grand final, in my opinion. And what a grand final that'll be, having the Warriors atmosphere there on the big stage. Now, I'm going Warriors. I think Warriors will be too good for Manly. I think Manly, after the weekend and how high they were up, I think they'll really put something on this game about trying to back up and put another solid performance in. So I don't think there'll be a smashing. I think it'll just be Warriors 1-12. I don't have any psychic sort of numbers coming out for this game, guys. Sorry. I'm just going the odd 1-12. Next game, the last one we want to talk about, 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, this game, I've seen it coming up and it absolutely bored the shit out of me. I'm, for some reason, so intrigued by this matchup. I don't know what it is. I think it's because both teams have been so bad for so long that we're starting to get some glimpses of them being an actual NRL team this year. And I'm hoping they both think about this game going, oh, we're going to win this game. This is a real good chance to beat the opposition. We've got this down as 2 competition points. So I'm hoping they're both going to turn up on Sunday and just produce a cracking contest with a lot of points. I'm going the Tigers at home, but the Dragons have shown some glimpses of being a decent footy team this year. I just don't know what Dragons team is going to turn up. Jez, I'm with you. I'm just like, I don't know. I've got no idea.
Mate, flip the coin. Whatever it lands on, that's who you tip, because it's the swing of the pendulum for both of these teams. Dragons, after getting schooled in the wet last week, to them actually being contenders again. Who knows, it might happen. But then you got the Tigers, who again are just swinging on that pendulum as well. So honestly, flip a coin or throw something at the wall, whatever sticks, that's the team you tip, because how do you split them? How do you split them?
And they're not at Leichhardt, guys. I forgot to say they're at Campbelltown. So
Campbelltown.
Yeah, nice.
I'm just going to go with the Tigers.
Tigers. Because of Campbelltown.
Tigers, because of Campbelltown. Exactly right. You just don't know, honestly. They could turn out as bad as each other. It can go to Golden Point, nothing, and just end as a draw. Yeah, love to see it. Surely, it's never happened. I guarantee you. Imagine that, though. Fuck, could you imagine the scenes? I mean, this is disgraceful.
Dragons by 3-0. 3-0.
Yeah, I do agree with that, Andrew. Yeah. No Galvin, no party, but yeah, it doesn't really matter with the Dragons. They don't need to do too much to fall apart. So yeah, I just hope it's not a stinker, because it has everything pretty much saying it could well be the worst game you've ever seen. But I hope not. They've been decent enough. Entertaining enough.
Let's hope that both teams play their best footy, because they've played some really good games this year already. So hopefully it's that sort of contest and not the contest that we've been used to the last couple of years, where we see the matchup of Tigers Dragons go next.
Oh yeah. I'll watch paint dry.
And we get a Sunday Arvo cracker. That would be great to sit back and enjoy some attacking. I'm hoping like a scoreline of 34-28 or something like that would be awesome for these two teams. So high class attacking rugby league. If Galvin was playing, I'd probably have the Tigers 13 plus, but he's that much of a loss at the moment for the Tigers. He's been
how many weeks did he get? When's he back?
He's back next week.
Next week.
Cool.
For the Panthers, unfortunately for him. So that'll be a test for him. Maybe.
Look,
If Cleary's back, who
They-
knows?
they- Look, yeah, we might preach that game next week. Look, 5 minutes, guys, for question times. You know the drill by now. Get your questions in. I'll quickly go through the comments and bring a few up as well. Go in. Oh, we want questions, not just rugby league either, guys. Ask us anything. The weirder, the wackier the question, the better it is as well. Please, we're up for anything. I reckon one of the boys will have a question lined up.
I got one. Yeah.
All right.
Underwear. Do you wear boxers or briefs?
Who the hell wears boxers?
Correct. Good answer.
Yeah, that's
Honestly, I couldn't imagine anything more uncomfortable than walk around
Though-
in bloody shorts under my shorts.
Primary school days, I did wear boxers under my school
Yuck.
shorts.
Yeah,
No.
did you wear undies under your boxers?
No, dude. That was the time. That was cool, and you just wear them like a little bit out the top as well, so people knew.
Were they like
sick.
Spider-Man ones and shit? They were like bright, colorful.
They were Star Wars. Thank you.
Fair.
And they were fantastic. But no, it's definitely briefs. Don't let anything
to be.
swing around.
Has to be.
Grow
Could you
up.
imagine like dropping your ducks,
I
seeing
don't-
some boxes? You're like, fuck, I'm out. I'm going home.
Yeah.
So-
I'm going home. I'm done.
I thought the boxers thing was like a trend that was over well and truly years and years ago. So it obviously still around for Jez to bring that up. I will say at school, I'm with you, Jez. I was a boxers man, but I would wear the undies underneath. So I'd be triple layered.
3
I'd be
layers.
at school
God, what's
going
the
around
point?
the handball court triple layered. So
Ugh.
no wonder
You're
I
a
was
sweaty
sweating
boy.
my ass off. I had half my wardrobe on.
Bring back bullying.
So-
It's just weird. It's just weird. But
Or once again, mate, we appreciate your support. Signing up. Everyone get around that, please, if you can. 6:15. You know what? I've heard that this is the last 6:15 Sunday night game for the year. They're going back to that earlier time slot from next week.
Daylight
So
savings.
this is the last one we have to deal with. It's a pain in the ass for us trying to do our Sunday show as well because we have to start a little bit later, but and we have to pretty much just get straight into it after the
Even
game,
just
so we don't have time to.
Bed and dinner routine. If you got a family, that's 6:15
Yeah.
on a Sunday. That's a killer.
it's the
not pleasant.
worst.
So this is the last week of it. Andrew has wanted to ask this question for a long time, but he's got two. I'm going to ask this one first. I'm going to say, Adam promised me to be in the comments. I'm missing his comments. You know what?
Let's
Jez,
just check
do we
back
have
in
an
on him. Where
update?
is he?
Yeah, hang on. I was just about to say, do we have an update?
Oh, they're still at the party. They're still
Oh.
there. That's good.
They're still
These blokes wear boxes.
They wear boxes.
Oh,
100%. That's beautiful.
Oh, shit.
Favorite roast dinner, Jez. For you, what is your go-to dinner?
Well, obviously a whole heap of veg. So no meat at the moment. Do you want my pre-vego roast? Because that was definitely lamb, which was spectacular. But nowadays, when we do a roast, it's normally just all your veggies chucked in the oven, and then maybe grill up some broccolini to go with it, and a little bit of halloumi, grilled halloumi to go with it. That's pretty good.
God damn. All over that. That's quality.
Oh, I like that. Jesse,
Yeah. Same question?
what's your roast?
A lot
Yeah,
of the
go to
same,
roast.
to be honest with you. My daughter's loving broccolini and carrots, so that's always a staple. She freaking loves corn, so there has to be just a plethora of all of. Lamb is definitely the go. Lamb is actually fantastic right now, by the way, a little bit, and it's cheap. So lamb is like 3 times a night on rotation at the moment. Pork belly, bit of crackle, not bad either. So yeah, but yeah, heaps of roast veg. Chuck it in, shitload of butter, duck fat. Get the potatoes going.
What's changed with lamb? Because I went through a stage probably 2 or 3 months ago. We kept getting lamb that was just fat. It was just fat mess, and it was actually not great.
I don't know.
What's changed? Have they got the lambs running, doing circuits? What's the go?
They've
We've
changed
got,
the steroid that
yeah,
they
the
pump them
Ultimate
with.
Fitness Adventure
Stuck on
Camp
the
is in
treadmill.
the comments tonight. Thank you
Yeah.
for being part of things. Like, are they joining the camp, or what's the lambs doing?
I don't know.
They
There
might
must
be
have been
there.
something in the feed, and they've just multiplied. Like they've been reproducing like crazy. So there's a shit ton of them. They're not messing around. They're quickly knocking them off before they get a chance to get unhealthy. So I don't know. Whatever it
Um,
is, there's a lot of it. It's not
Je-
expensive. So
Nah, old school,
Jez
Mika.
Mika wants to know.
Old school silk.
Yeah.
Old school
yeah,
silk boxes is what we were talking about there.
ones where you sort of wear your pants like halfway around your thighs and you see them popping out the top, but like overflowing.
Yeah. That's exactly what I
Yeah,
was
like
talking about. Yep.
the early 2000s is a horrible time for fashion.
Is it a Broncos whitewash against the Dolphins? I don't think so. I think it'll be
No.
a bit closer than we're thinking.
Dolphins win.
Ricky is now confirmed out as well, so that's not a great result there for the Broncos. I think they'll win, but it'll be a lot closer than a whitewash. I love this question. This is what I was laughing at earlier. Ultimate Fitness Adventure. As I said, guys, thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate the support, being part of things. Hope to see you again in future episodes. Who would win in a table tennis match? Brad Arthur, Des Hasler, or JD? And the winner, the prize is a boot. Oh,
I'm gonna go
Gotta be
Brad
Desi.
Arthur.
Oh,
It looks like Brad Arthur plays table tennis in his spare time. I don't see the other two actually looking
I don't
like
know.
they're
I
much of a
reckon
difference.
Desi has a mean backhand. I've seen him throw doors off hinges. I reckon he's got a mean backhand with some killer topspin.
Yeah, I,
Yeah,
I
Desi
respect
for me.
that. Yeah, I'd love to
yeah.
see him get it going. I reckon, forget table tennis. I reckon if you put him in like a squash court, you'd see the real elite stand out.
Oh, someone's going through the glass though, for sure.
Hang on,
Desi's
hang
throwing
on.
JD
We've got
through the
them.
glass.
Both Martin brothers are in the house. Boys,
Oh.
good to see you.
Finish the party. Adam's obviously the one with the hat
They're
on.
online. They're back. Honestly, I feel like Des wins. I just feel like Des would scare the shit out of the other two. He'd like,
It's a very explosive sport, you know? Like there's a lot of movement. I just
Yeah.
don't see him with that range of flexibility. Neither JD. I feel like
Yeah,
with the
true.
amount of water that BA drinks, he can keep going. He can just keep pumping these things out. You'll see his arms flailing around. These other two are going to be gassed in about 20 seconds.
Love it. That's
Surely
awesome.
it's
Table
long
tennis
gone.
though.
So
play?
let's lock one in. We got to say
Get
a
him
name.
going
Just
with the
quick,
steam
let's
pong.
say a name. I'm
There's
going
Hasler.
Hasler. Yeah.
I can't
Jesse?
do it. Sorry, boys. I'm on the
What do you,
fence.
BA?
Yeah. I just think he's just too hydrated.
Jez,
Too hydrated to lose.
Andrew wants to ask you this. He's asked a few times. He's obsessed with Connor Watson, apparently. What should
Me
we
too.
expect from him at 5'8"?
More than you
a-
can expect from Luke Keary at 5'8".
Dashing good looks.
Yeah.
A beautiful moustache and a great hairstyle would be one thing that you can expect from Connor Watson. He's actually not a bad 5'8". I love him at 14 though. Like he's a genuine 14, but I think he will offer a little bit more than what has been dished up by Keary. And I think he'll actually control the team quite well too, because he has quite a command when it comes to leading rugby league teams. So I love seeing Connor Watson play, and I'm just glad he's back playing rugby league.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's just peak utility. He'll do a shift, even if it's just for 1 week. I feel like
He proved it with his
it'll be a
charge down
9 out
last
of
week
10.
that he's all effort.
Yeah, and like considering what they've had to put up with at the moment, like Sam Walker's been trying to do a lot of it. Kiri's nowhere. I feel like it's going to be quite good to see. Something refreshing at least anyway. It's nice to see Sandon Smith do it, so I feel like Watson's very similar.
Mick has sort of continued to talk about the underwear, but I want to quickly, final question, I think, for the night. Nude sleepers or not? What are we, boys? We nude Starkers. We've got some jocks on. We've got a G banger on. What do we got? What are we taking to bed?
It's fan on, blanket on.
Yes,
and it is Peter. I'm actually wearing them now because you're professional at top, but I've got them on. It's Peter Alexander shorts because if my pajama shorts don't have pockets, I don't want them. Got to have pockets.
Yep, pockets are a must. Clothes too. I can't do it. Hey, I can't do the whole nude sleeper thing. I just feel
Only
like
if
it's
you're
too
drunk.
much getting about. Yeah, we just drop. I can sleep in jeans when I'm drunk. I don't think it matters. I just don't want to roll over and have to worry about squashing anything. I just want to be contained while I'm sleeping.
Oh, I don't have that luxury.
If
It's
a bit
all
of
quite
deep-
where it needs to be.
Yeah, just sucked in, inverted. It's been quite cold up here, boys.
Oh,
Yeah, it gets down to
Adam,
13 tonight.
you're winning. You're winning the internet. I am
Jesus.
just undies. That's it. No matter what time of the year it is, and I have the fan on. No matter what time of the year it is as well, I need that.
Correct.
The aircon pretty much stays on as well, apart from maybe a couple of weeks in the year because the missus just can't cop it when it's really cold. If it was up to me, I'd just leave it. I love the cold. I have the best sleeps when it's freezing cold. The colder I am, the better the sleep. So
Yeah.
that's it, guys, for the episode. Thank you once again all for tuning in. Jez, you've become famous at this now. The parting words of wisdom, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Share to
Well,
our viewers the
firstly,
goodbye
a
message.
big shout out to Paul being our subscriber there and getting his messages highlighted. So if you would like to also subscribe to the page, you can do that through the Facebook. A little goes a long way. It's all about just trying to promote the page more, and all the money goes back into the page. Nothing goes into our pockets, even though Joel should probably put some in his pockets because he's the one that does all the bloody work. Please like, share, and subscribe. The best way that we can grow this podcast is through word of mouth. So if you know anyone that likes rugby league, tell them about League of Inches. Get them on there. We have a huge back catalogue that they can listen to as well with all the previews. The Super Coach thing is going off its head. So if you know anyone that is Super Coach inclined, please steer them in our direction as well. But I'm preaching to the choir here. Everyone in the comments, thank you so much. We appreciate your live views. And sorry if we didn't get to your comments, but we try our very best each week. So like and subscribe, and see you next time.
Ciao, Bella.